Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be providing a longer term Vechain market analysis update. I'll cover some very key moving averages to watch out for, some horizontal support and resistance zone, and in general my outlook going into the next few months, where Vechain is headed, and overall my thoughts surrounding the price action. So if you guys enjoy the content, please do consider leaving a like and subscribing. Also, this channel is sponsored by FTX.us. This is a great cryptocurrency exchange where you can buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrencies like Vechain. And if you sign up with my link in the description below or through my referral code Snowy Crypto, you can get a 5% discount on exchange fees. So go check them out. They are a great exchange. So I'm going to start off here with Vechain on the weekly chart. And first, let's talk about these two moving averages. So I've got a moving average in red, which is the 20-period average, and then a moving average in green, which is the 50-period average. Now, in general, in a longer-term view, I really want to see both of these moving averages reclaimed. Now, obviously, the green one, the 50-period average, is much higher up, so we can't really look to that in the short term as a potential level that is sort of achievable, but we can look to the 20-period average because that is actually coming in around 3.2 cents. And you can see that this previous weekly candle, we actually came up to this level and had some sort of rejection off of this. You can see we also had a rejection more or less off this zone back here in March of this year. This was more or less the level that we formed yet another longer term lower high. So again, this is a level of resistance that I do want to see reclaimed. Because if we're below this and we're having the price action come up into a declining level of resistance and we reject off of it like we have here back on the last week, then it can put a lot of stress on the current support levels in place, because consider it as a supply side that is continuously moving down. And the reason it's continuously moving down is because, once again, it's calculated by taking the average closing price of the last 20 weeks. And if we were to go back 20 weeks ago, you can see we were closing prices around 6 cents. So this will continuously average down unless we're making it back up to those levels. And I think it's fairly reasonable to say that most likely Vechain is not going to be, in the short term, immediately pumping back up to these 5 to 6 cent levels and then turning this into an upward sloping average. Also, look out to the 50-period average, the green line here. And this is also important because in a longer term context, this is a level that we have seen some pretty extraordinary bounces off of. If we go all the way back to 2020, you can see we actually had a pretty significant correction here, basically declining from this peak back here in August. We fell about 60%. And you can see that on the weekly, this is the level that we tested. We formed support off of this area, and then we continued higher. And then you can see on this extremely long wick, this is the level we found support. We bounced off of another test of support right here, and then we had another bounce. And then lastly, this bounce right here in September. All right. And then basically what happened next was we came back below it, and then we flipped it into resistance. And basically we had this rejection here in December. So again, this is the longer term level that I do want to see reclaimed. This is several months out. Again, this is at 6.5 cents. So obviously in the short term, it's not something to worry about. But say in the next few months, that is going to be a target that you should consider, especially considering how the fact it is moving down, as is the 20-week average. So if we were to go back 50 weeks ago, we can take the measured move here. We were closing prices around 15 cents. So we're only closing prices around 2 cents today. That's a 13-cent difference divided by 50 weeks, which means it's going to be moving down by about 0.25 cents per week. And if we just extend out this moving average, again, you can see that it's moving down pretty quickly, and we could be retesting it at some lower valuations, say towards the end of the year. So that's the level that you want to watch out for in terms of longer term resistance, and especially to see if we can actually reclaim it again several months out, because when you are above it, you can experience some pretty nice bounces off of this level as support. So now let's look at this horizontal level of support around 1.9 to 2.1 cents. So this is a very key level, because if we go all the way back here to 2018, we can see this was a macro lower high. This is where we rejected, and then we formed lower lows, continuing this bear market trend. And then we had a level of resistance being formed again here in the summer of 2020. We had several candles coming up into this level, unable to reclaim it, and then we turned around again, that 60% correction, and basically rejected off of this level. And then you can see that, again, we have the current lows in place around this area, and it will be important to see if we can actually hold this level and continue to consolidate above it. And if that's something that we can do, it will increase the probability that I think the bottom is in, or if we're starting to build a longer term base, that I think the probability we're at least diminishing the bear market trend. All right, so now let's switch over to the Vechain Bitcoin chart, because I think this is very important to consider. This does a great job at showing you the opportunity cost, how Vechain performs with respect to Bitcoin. And one of the things I always say about the altcoins is that if your altcoin is not outperforming Bitcoin, then for me personally, I would just rather hold Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is more time proven by the market. It's less risky, less volatile, and in general, if it is outperforming your altcoin, then to me, the risk reward ratio is just much better. So you can see that Vechain has been in a pretty significant decline against Bitcoin for the past 500 days ago. So this is a pretty significant and dominant downtrend, and you can see that every few months or so we have just been forming these macro lower highs. So we come up into a level that is lower than the previous high, and basically we reject. And you can see that we have a similar move here where we could potentially be forming yet another lower high. And this is something you need to watch out for, because again, the lower highs that we've already put in place were immediately followed with lower lows. So you can see we came back down, retested support, continued the downtrend. So look out to see if we can actually reverse this structure. And what that would mean is potentially forming some sort of double bottom, where maybe we come back down to this level around 93 Satoshis, bounce off of that, or maybe if we can form some sort of higher low above that point. Anything like this where we can actually start to shift the trend, where again we have either a double bottom, we have a higher low followed by a higher high, that will do a great deal into convincing me that we have some sort of longer term trend reversal, which is again something that I want to see here with Vechain. So I hope you guys did enjoy the content and the analysis. Once again, check out our sponsors in the link in the description below. As always, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.